The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets have a busy Saturday. Not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 GM interviews are scheduled later today. We'll talk about each one, and we'll talk about the latest and where the Jets go from here. Frankie V from uStadium will join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Who's the coach? Who's the GM? Who's the quarterback? At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, Jet fans. Happy Saturday. Happy wild card weekend, everybody. Appreciate you spending some time with us here on the channel. Do me a favor before we get rolling. Click that thumbs up button. That's the like button that helps the YouTube algorithm show this show to more Jet fans. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it is free to do so. Click the subscribe button on the right-hand side, and you can help us get to 41,000 subscribers. Appreciate everyone out there. Join the Patreon if you want bonus content, Discord access, your name in the intro, a bunch of other perks, a whole lot more. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. For just $5 a month, you get all those perks and you help support this show going forward. Joining us right now is a friend of the show, a big-time Jet fan, and the co-founder of uStadium, Frankie V. Frankie, happy Saturday. Maybe this time a year from now, the Jets will actually be playing Wild Card Weekend again.
You know what, Jake? We should be playing today. You told me we were going to be playing today, and I believed you. So, I mean, it's sad that we're not, but I think in a year or two, I'm on the 26 plan. I'm on the Frank the Tank 25 train. I think in 26, we're going to be playing on during Wild Card Weekend. Hopefully not. Hopefully we have a bye, actually. Maybe we'll be the 1 seed. How about that?
That'd be great.
That'd be nice, right?
You know what? Let me rephrase. I don't want to play a year from now. All right. I want to be the number 1 seed and have a bye. All right. We're too good to be playing Wild Card Weekend. We'll wait for the divisional round.
There we go.
Oh, man. All right. So busy
thanks
day
for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, my friend. So busy day for the Jets. This is from Peter Schrager. He says the Jets have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 general manager interviews scheduled today. A couple of names here that I don't know if they've been reported anywhere else. So Darren Mogi, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name properly. He's the assistant GM of the Denver Broncos. He'll speak with the Jets. Lance Newmark, the assistant GM of the Washington Commies. He'll speak with the Jets. And then the other 3 names have previously been reported as names that the Jets have requested to speak with. That's Trey Brown, the senior personnel director of the Bengals. Chris Spielman, that came out the other day, the brother of the other Spielman, Rick Spielman, who's helping the Jets and Mike Tannenbaum with the 33rd team with this process. So Chris will speak to his brother and company. He's the special assistant to the president and CEO of the Lions, and many know him as the guy who helped the Lions hire Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell during their search years ago. And then Ryan Grigson, former GM of the Colts. He's currently with the Vikings as an SVP of player personnel. It kind of feels like reading the tea leaves here, Frankie. This is like the last round of GM interviews, like the first round of GM interviews. And then I could see next week the Jets starting the process of second round of GM interviews. And then maybe, just maybe, by the end of next week, we might have an actual general manager in place. I'm curious your thoughts on these names here and your thoughts on my take on kind of reading through the tea leaves on where things are headed.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think if you look at how the 33rd team is conducting all of these interviews, they're casting a wide net. They want to talk to everybody. I'm sure they're trying to get information from people that are being interviewed that maybe you or I are like, what the hell are they doing here? They're doing that strategically. There are probably candidates that know things about other candidates or about certain ways of conducting business or going through the scouting process for GM specifically. Maybe you're picking the brains of these GM candidates for scouting tidbits, different area scouts that you may want to bring in. On the coaching front, you may want some, wide receivers coach that you may like that you want to pluck in at some point. So I think the casting of a wide net is a common theme with what the 33rd team is doing. And I think a lot of people are looking at these interviews and saying, what the hell are the Jets doing? Why are you interviewing the Maryland coach, etc.? That's going to happen when you cast a wide net. This is how the 33rd team conducts business. So I don't think of it outside of just they're trying to do their diligence and trying to get as much information. They're an information company, aren't they? The 33rd team, they're a media and information company. That's how they make their decisions. The more information, the better. Knowledge is power, as some people say. So I think in regards to these candidates, I mean, listen, I like Lance Newmark. He's been around the game for a long time. He has 28 years experience. I'm always down with a GM who has experience. It's his first season as an assistant GM. So I like his background a lot. If you look at Chris Spielman, I know the Rick Spielman connection's throwing people off, but he's done some good things in Detroit, obviously. Look at the way that team's been constructed and how successful they've been. So I like the Spielman interview, I guess, or I like the fact that they're talking to Chris Spielman, and I think they're trying to plug into Detroit as much as they can, Jake, to try to maybe get our next head coach or offensive coordinator or quarterbacks coach, etc. So I see us plugging into that franchise a bunch, which is a good thing. The candidate that I really like, not on this list, and we were speaking about it before the show, I like Alec Halaby. I'm a big fan of Alec Halaby, sort of a wonder kid, Harvard grad that is currently in Philly. I love his approach to the game. He looks at football or looks at the way to GM similar to Theo Epstein, and he wants to bring this Moneyball NFL approach to the game. And I think if we start looking at things outside the box in a different way, which I think is what we need to do with this team, I don't think we want a GM that is just an average candidate or somebody that is sort of like a status quo person. I want somebody that's outside the box completely. You love analytics. You're brilliant. Come on right in. We're not good with the eye test anyway, that front office. So we can't out eye test the best teams like the Chiefs and Ravens and 49ers that literally build their franchises and their teams off of eye test material. Let's think differently. Let's go into analytics. Let's dive a layer deeper into this game. And the NFL, it's a little bit of an outside the box thought, but the NFL hasn't completely entrenched themselves, these teams, into the analytical world. There's a lot of analytics still to be looked at for making football decisions. And these teams, a lot of them are running 30, the way teams were running 30 years ago with the eye test and look at that arm strength and look at how they walk down the freaking hallway. Those days are ending in the NFL. Baseball sort of had a resurgence of that during the Moneyball years. I think the NFL, there's going to be a team or two that's going to do that in the future. And I think Alec Halaby could be one of the pioneers in bringing that approach to a front office.
If you're watching this live right now, hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It helps us continue to grow. If you have any questions about the Jets, NFL related, for Frankie or myself, super chat it in. That is the guarantee that it will be read on the air. And of course, if you have a comment on anything we're talking about, super chats are the best way to get your comment read. The Gustbuster hotline is pinned, so we'll take some calls coming up as well. As far as the coaching interviews they've done so far, Frankie, give me your thoughts on that. It feels like, unless it's Rabel, who feels destined to go to the Patriots, but still, as of now, he's not the Patriot coach. But it feels like the Jets are going to go GM first, and then that GM will assist in the second round of interviews for a lot of these coaching candidates. And the Jets still have some coaching candidates like Josh McCown, like Brian Flores, that they aren't allowed to speak to yet that they can starting next week. So I still think we got some ways to go. But your thoughts on some of the names out there, what stands out to you? What have been your thoughts on the coaching candidates that are known so far for this team?
I mean, listen, it's bothering me. It's bothering me because we haven't been able to get an interview with a Ben Johnson or a Liam Cohen or a Cliff Kingsbury. That's bothersome to me. I think with this cycle, having those three potential candidates available to be your head coach, forget about not hiring them, Jake. We haven't even been able, we're not even going to put in a request because we know they're going to decline our request to interview them. That's been bothering me a bit because I know the value of those three potential candidates and what they could do to change an offense, which is my whole MO here when it comes to who to hire and what to do for the future here. I want to change the way we do offense. We run our offense. It's outdated. We thought Aaron was going to be able to fix everything, and he clearly wasn't able to, although he had a pretty good year, third in yards and touchdowns in Jets history. But we only scored as many points as the Saints did this year. Actually, the Panthers scored more points than us, Jake, last year, believe it or not. And if I told you Aaron's stats, you would have never have believed me if I told you that. That's what a Dave Canales can do for a team like Carolina. I want us to get someone like that. But with all that being said, I like the fact that we are talking with Josh McCown. I know yesterday I was listening to your show a little bit with Boy Green. He's big on McCown, as am I. I think get him a year or two earlier than later is a good approach there. If you look at the NFL, there's been some quarterbacks, coaches that have just come in and become head coaches that have been pretty good, like an Andy Reid. I think there's something with McCown. I've met him before. He's got a spunk. He's got a confidence to him. He's got an aura that I really like. And I look at that stuff. A lot of times when I look at these candidates, I'll look at their post games, their pregame interviews, media sessions. I think McCown would be great. I think Greasy's an outside the box sort of thought there. Probably not ready yet to jump into that. But the most important thing is if we do get a defensive-minded head coach, if we do get Aaron Glenn, you need a quality offensive coordinator, period. There's nothing you can tell me, Jake, where you can convince me, Aaron Glenn, and just get like an average coordinator. Doesn't work. If you look at the teams in the playoffs now, 7 out of the 14 have offensive-minded head coaches. 2 are indeterminate. You can't say the Lions because Dan Campbell was a tight end. He's not a defensive-minded or offensive-minded, so he's kind of TBD on that. And Baltimore. And 5 have defensive-minded head coaches in the playoffs. But the Bills have Joe Brady. The Texans have Bobby Slowick. The Steelers have Arthur Smith. The Commanders have Cliff Kingsbury. And the Bucs have Liam Cohen. All of those candidates I just mentioned, by the way, are all up for head coaching jobs this year, and they're probably going to, I'm sure a few will end up leaving. The point is, if you want Aaron Glenn or you want Rex Ryan, which I think is crazy, the Rex Ryan thing, I think it's absolutely insane. But if you want them, fine, fair enough. You better get a quality OC. You're not going to be able to run an offense in this game and score 20 points, which we weren't able to even average this year. We averaged 19.9 points. You're not going to be able to score enough points to win in this league. You're just not. So my thoughts are, whatever you want to do, I'd rather go offensive mind to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because you can fix the offense and hopefully the coach can put the team in a position to be successful. But if you want to go defensive minded, you better get a good OC. And I don't know where you're necessarily going to find that at this point.
We're talking with Frankie V. Get your comments or questions in for Frankie to respond to. Also, another reminder to everyone out there, we are doing a raffle next week, and the grand prize is a full-size New York Jets helmet that I will be sending to you. Hopefully you got a spot in the man cave for it. So if you win, that's the grand prize. The other prize that we added yesterday to the arsenal, I acquired another Joe Willie Namath Super Bowl III replica championship ring. So if you want the Joe Willie ring, here's your opportunity. If you get the membership, you can get one for yourself. So check that out. Plus a Rodgers jersey, items from my merch store, and much more. The raffle will be next week. So get the membership to have a chance to win any of those prizes. Shout out to everyone who supports the channel by gifting a membership or by sending in a $20 super chat. KJH starts us off. Will Parkinson said earlier, and I completely agree, Jets should hire Mike Borgonzi tomorrow and offer Vrabel $20+ million a year, even if it just costs the Patriots a ton of extra money. You know, I've said this before, Frankie, until Vrabel goes elsewhere, if I'm the Jets, I'm still trying to get him. Like, you still have the opportunity to say, hey, Mike, New England's cheap. Hey, Mike, we're going to pay you and let you pick the GM you want to work with. So I agree with that aspect. As far as Borgonzi goes, I like him as a candidate, but I still prefer someone with experience. But if you told me they hired Borgonzi, of the guys who have never been a GM before, I feel like his resume makes the most sense for a guy who could become a GM. So your thoughts on that statement there, that take from Will that KJH is agreeing with?
Yeah, I think Borgonzi's a fantastic candidate. He's been a part of 3 Super Bowl winning teams. He's heavy into scouting. He knows what you need to do to build an offense in today's game, which I'll bring up over and over again until you're sick of hearing it from me. I think Borgonzi's awesome. I think if you had to put your top candidate on paper, he's the top guy, in my opinion. I think Alec Halaby's probably my favorite guy because of the upside there, but Borgonzi's would be great here. Vrabel, yeah, he's the only defensive-minded head coach that I'm for, that I would like here. And I just don't agree with one thing in that statement, is the money. I don't think the Jets are going to pay a coach that $20 million a year mark. Not at this point. I just don't see that. Hypothetically, yeah, that would be great if you could bring Vrabel in and pay him. I mean, I don't care what he spends. I hope he spends more than less. But I don't. It just doesn't seem realistic at this point.
So you're not confident that Woody will pony up for Mike Vrabel?
I'm not.
I think he's just going to go to New England, so I don't think it truly matters. But I at least would still be trying to get him, I guess, is the point.
Absolutely. No, yeah, for sure. As would I. There was a report. I don't know if it's true or not, but that Vrabel was looking for at least $15 million a year, and the Patriots were only willing to pony up and do 10. So now there's basically like a little bit of a back and forth there, apparently.
It almost feels like New England has to get him, or like they're going to just look horrible. You know what I mean? Like they almost have to hire him. Otherwise, their fan base is going to go insane on Kraft.
Yeah. Unless, Jake, they hire Ben Johnson.
Which I hope they do.
Really? I'm the opposite. I
think Vrabel's a better coach. Ben Johnson could be Adam Gase for all we know. We don't know what he is.
Yeah, but yes, that's true. But Ben Johnson could also turn Drake May into Jordan Love, similar to what, Matt LaFleur did. I'm sort of worried about that. So, yeah, that is true. He could become an Adam Gase. But on the other end, if he does turn out and has their offense humming with Drake, I think that could be a little bit nightmarish for us. But whatever.
What we're going to do right now is go inside the mind of Frankie V. And inside the mind of Frankie is this image that you see over and over again. Tanking the 2025 season. Frankie, your thoughts on the Jets' upcoming year, finishing with 3 wins and getting the quarterback of the future in the draft.
But who made that graphic so fast? That's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Jake Asman production team led by Gator McCluskey.
It's fans unbelievable. You guys are unreal. Listen, I don't know why that was such a controversial take. I understand that people, want the Jets to be competitive every year. I was just saying, in a hypothetical world, putting my Frank the Tank, commander hat on, in a hypothetical world, kick the can down the road. Forget about 25. Let's see if Archie Manning could man this ship in the future. Why not? I don't know what people hated that comment. It doesn't bother me.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Mike writes in, the show is undefeated. That's right. This show is indeed undefeated. June the GM writes in, Frankie, what GM/head coach duo would you like to see with the Jets?
At this point, being realistic, I would probably go. This is going to be craziness, but if it's, let's say Liam Cohen, Cliff Kingsbury, and Ben Johnson are out, let's just assume because we're not interviewing them. Listen, man, I'd hire Josh McCown and I would hire as our GM Alec Hallaby and really start changing the way this is. And then I'd bring in a veteran defensive coordinator that maybe was a past head coach to sort of be that influence in the locker room. I think Josh McCown, let's say a Ron Rivera, and Alec Hallaby doing the analytics stuff upstairs. I think you start changing the way that the Jets have been operating over the last, 20, 30 years. Just thinking differently about the game. Again, my opinion, I think there's a high risk with that involved. I think there's a higher ceiling, but a lower floor that could crash and burn. But the more, Jake, and June, I think about Josh McCown, the more I want Josh McCown here. I would love him here as an offensive coordinator versus a head coach.
That's my hope. Brian Flores, head coach, Josh McCown is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I think that would work. That's a good idea. If you get the defensive-minded guy that's a disciplinarian and then team him up with a creative OC that's just going to – I mean, the OC and the defensive-minded head coach is structure. They're basically running the offense like it's their team. I mean, on practice fields, they're split. I mean, the OC's kind of doing whatever they feel is the way to do things. They're not really – the head coach isn't stepping on their toes so much. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. McCown hasn't done that yet, though. He hasn't called plays yet, so I'm curious how that transition would go. But the idea is there. I think that makes sense.
Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. There's a comment here, a question I should say, from the great Tom Ace. Can Frankie weigh in on Beast Breaker's four horseman approach to coach/coordinator hires? Your thoughts on the Jets potentially hiring Mike Vrabel, Rex Ryan, Pete Carroll, and Josh McCown for roles on the coaching staff?
You know what? That might be the best idea I've ever heard in my life. I really think we're getting somewhere with that.
See?
I mean, that'd be a dream come true. I would love that. Are you kidding? Yeah, that's like it's like thinking like we're living on Mars right now. I kind of like that.
A lot of innovation with that one.
Unbelievable
of innovation. Now, for those who missed it yesterday, there was a lot of controversy on the show. We had Beast Breaker taking on a guy by the name of Fart Knocker. Here's a highlight montage if you missed it. I can't believe this, but one of your arch nemesises has just called in to challenge you. Buckle up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Asmaniac Rumble.
What do we have here? Look at this guy. This guy.
Talk about gabagoo. Oh, let me get some words in. Look, the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, quarterback. Josh Allen, quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback. We bring back Tom Brady. You try to tell me that those four quarterbacks aren't going to make a difference?
Timeout.
Look,
Tom Brady is happily retired.
he's still got something. You don't know what you're talking about. Hey, you don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, relax.
Hey.
Before you blow up with blood pressure. I'm not going to tell you again.
Hey.
Relax.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell you again.
You're making me upset. I'm getting upset.
Yeah, getting upset what?
Yeah,
What are you getting upset at?
Yo.
Get out of here then. Go. Go.
Whoa.
Go. If you're going to act like a crybaby, go.
Oh, I'm getting upset. I can't feel this way. I need a new diaper. Ma! Meatloaf and a diaper change. Ma!
Jake, this is embarrassing to the public. I'm not going to listen to this crap.
What?
You're making a damn fool of yourself.
Mahomes on the Jets, along with Tom Brady and Josh Allen on the Jets. It's going to make a difference. A winning combination. Man, a diaper.
First of all, you're making an ass out of yourself, and you're not acting like a normal human being. Please act normal.
That you don't use to clean the funnel butt. Funnel butt.
If you're gonna act this way towards me, I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna hear this BS.
Funnel butt. Funnel
Stop.
butt.
Get out of here. I don't want to hear him.
Oh.
Do you understand me? Take a walk. I said take a walk.
Where am I going?
You know where you're going. To the back of the line. Now get your ass out of here and act like a civilian and do your part like everybody else.
Jake, he told me to get to the back of the line, Jake. I don't like when people tell me to get to the back of the line.
Get used to it, son. I'm not going to accept you.
I will go to the back
Get
of the
line.
Get in the line.
Good.
All right.
Give me a real person to talk to. I'd like to speak to Bobby, but he's a little sick right now. That last guy you heard on there.
It was a wild one, Frankie. Your thoughts on Beastbreaker?
Listen, he sounds like a great American patriot, Beastbreaker. He's I mean, if there's ever anything that we need some generals out there. If anything happens and with a civil war, I hope I'm on Beastbreaker's side. Honestly, I just think he's just that kind of person,
There you go. If you're watching live right now, we're talking with Frankie V from uStadium. We've talked about the coach and GM search. Obviously, this next question will have a lot to do with what they do at GM and coach. But your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and his future with the Jets right now?
I think it's over, Jake. I think the writing's on the wall. You kind of heard Devontae kind of point to that yesterday, that it's up to Rodgers at this point, but he could retire. He may retire. I think he'll take the year off, and maybe at some point, if he gets the itch to want to come back.
Do you think he retires? Interesting.
Yeah, it's starting to feel that way. Listen, I think the Achilles thing and everything that happened, but even before that, during COVID and the media this year just jumping on him towards the end, I think he probably just had enough. It just feels that way. He just seems tired. You saw the footage of him that last game. He's so emotional. I just think you hit a breaking point where you're like, I did what I could. And he did. Listen, say what you want about the guy. I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan. As a leader more so than on the field, but he always gave it his all. He played every game this year. He played through injuries. He tried to come back last year. You can't say the dude doesn't have a warrior mentality, but I think at this point, it's the writing just seems like he'll retire. That's just my opinion. I don't see him coming back.
Interesting. Let's say he does want to play. Is it not with the Jets? Is he playing elsewhere? Could you see the scenario where he is the Jet quarterback next year, depending on which particular coach they hire?
You know what? I think what Woody Johnson said about, regarding Aaron Rodgers' future, that it'll be up to the new GM or head coach. I think that's a PR, it's like a PR ploy by Woody saying, it's up to them. It's not up to me, but they wouldn't hire, I don't think, a head coach or a GM that would want Rodgers back. So I don't see Rodgers back in New York. I think there's a possibility he goes to Pittsburgh. I've been bringing them up for months now. I think they have no money on their books for quarterbacks, literally nothing. Fields and Wilson will be free agents. They need a quarterback. Rodgers has a great relationship with Tomlin. They could be in a win now window. They're in the playoffs this year. They're always in the playoffs. Maybe they feel like they're a quarterback away and Rodgers wants to just give it one more. But outside of that, people are bringing up Tennessee. Why would he go to Tennessee? What Tennessee's drafting in the top 5 again? I mean, they're not a competitor at this point. What's he going to do in Tennessee? Play there for a year and go what? Win 8 games maybe? So
it's better off retiring if his option is retirement or Tennessee.
I know. Yeah. If that's your options, you probably are going to retire. Unless they could convince him on something. I don't know. Maybe they bring in some pieces. Maybe Devontae goes there and they feel like they could bring the band back together again. But yeah, I think here he's done. I could see Pittsburgh, but more likely than not, I think he retires, Jake.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Listen to Rich. There's a wrench next to the man's name for a reason. Super chat from Snake, who says, good point. The media ran Rodgers out of New York. Joe writes in, can we get Frankie's thoughts on the moon landing? Did the moon landing happen?
I'm into a lot of conspiracies. I am. I'm very versed on a bunch. The moon one's not one I ever really looked into. I kind of take people's word for it that it was fake, but I'm not. I never really got into the moon landing conspiracy. I've been asked this a bunch of times, by the way, recently too. I've been asked a specific question.
Yep. It's the influence of the show. We've discussed the moon landing at length recently.
Do I seem like someone that would be into a fake moon landing conspiracy? Is that why I've been asked this so much?
You do. Is the Earth flat? You have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I thought it was for like 5 seconds. I won't lie. I was kind of on Kyrie's. I was in Kyrie's camp with that, but no, I don't think it's flat. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. If you get the membership, you're in the raffle. Another reminder, we'll do the raffle at some point next week, and we added the Super Bowl ring as the second place prize to go with the first place prize of the full-size Jet helmet. So gift memberships or send in a $20 super chat to have a shot at winning exactly that. Comments, questions, keep them coming. Tom Ace writes in, the Achilles was too much to overcome at his age, made him go from Superman to pedestrian as Rodgers could be, which is still better than most, but zapped him. It's the biggest what if, because I truly believe, Frankie, if Rodgers doesn't suffer the Achilles injury, they're a playoff team last year, and say they're not, then Mike Vrabel or Jim Harbaugh or someone is coaching the Jets this year, and everything might be different. But the Achilles injury, I really do think, ruined this entire timeline of this run that was supposed to be possible with Rodgers coming in, and it only happens to the Jets, and that's the cruel reality of what these last 2 years have been.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think somebody said 23 was the year. I actually thought this was the year, but you needed 23 to kind of work through everything. When you put together a team and we had so many new parts and new players coming in, it takes you some time to gel. And I think you saw Rodgers towards the end of the season, second half, he started to finally put some things together, kind of understand what everyone else was doing on the offense and sort of clicked into gear a little bit. I thought 24 would be the year if we had 23. We didn't have 23, so we just had really 24 this year. So ideally, I mean, yeah, doing it for one more year would, I guess, fall within that 2-year timeline. But I think with his age, and I don't trust him, Jake, staying healthy for another full season. I was shocked he stayed healthy this year for the most part. Healthy enough to play, of course. I know he was banged up all year. But yeah, 23 just set this whole thing back. It was it was a gut punch, to say the least.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Frankie, your thoughts on the games today?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of flipping back and forth.
Everyone loves the Chargers, so I'm fading the public, and I'm taking the +3 with Houston.
I feel I'm exactly with you on that. I could not agree more. And
I can't find anyone that thinks Houston's going to win, which is why I like them. Because like usually when the public is that one-sided, they're wrong.
Yes. And I this sort of like hit me yesterday as I was listening to the radio. I'm like, because someone was talking about CJ Stroud and how what a bad year he's had, and he, that Caleb Williams incident, etc. I'm like, I have a feeling CJ is going to go off today. Like, I think he's going to have an awesome game and just shut everybody up. So I actually, I have Houston winning that game, and I think CJ is a big day.
I like the Steelers to cover the almost 10-point line in the second game. I just can't see Mike Tomlin going out, losing 4 in a row, and getting blown out by the Ravens, the team that they always play tight, no matter who wins. And also, Lamar Jackson, all the pressure's on him. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in his playoff career. He's not the same guy in the playoffs, and until he shakes that narrative, that's going to follow him. I think it's a close game later.
Yeah, it could be. Listen, I think Baltimore's just gonna destroy them later, man. I think they're gonna get hot early.
You do.
I think with Derrick Henry, I think they end up covering that 10 points.
I like a tight game, so I guess we'll find out. Fiore with a super chat. Thank you, Fiore. Appreciate your support as always. Frankie, the problem with your plan is twofold. First, you tanking doesn't guarantee Manning next year, even if he comes out second, as shown by Drake May. It's still a 2 to 3 year build after.
Yeah, I mean, when I say tanking, I mean, don't overextend your resource pool in a 1-year window. Let it organically grow. And yes, if you have Drake May, that's better than not having Drake May. So yeah, I know it's a 2 to 3 year build. I don't work in year structures. I'm not a year to year Jet fan. I'm not. I'm a 5-year Jet fan. So I think about it like, what can we do in 5 years, not 1 year? So yeah, it doesn't guarantee anything. You also don't have a better option for a quarterback if you don't get somebody like an Archie Manning. I mean, we could always I don't know if Archie's going to be great. I don't think anybody does. There's no guarantees that Drake May is going to be great. There's no guarantees Patrick Mahomes will be great next year. I mean, what's a guarantee? I'm just trying to put our team in the best position to address quarterback, especially now that everything's pointing to Aaron Glenn coming here. If Aaron Glenn comes here, who's the OC and then who's the quarterback? Like, what kind of system are you running? So I just want a quarterback, man. I know 25 people want us to be competitive and we want to like live out the last year of this window that we thought we had when, pre-Achilles. Maybe it's just time. Take a step back. It'll be okay. Let's get these hires right and let's do this the right way. That's my whole point. If it works next year, it works. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world to me.
Are you ready for some calls, Frankie?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to unleash the beast.
Holy crap, here comes Beastbreaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I might be big, but I'm going to be bad enough to put you out.
Beastbreaker always has some salient points.
What's up, Beast?
Oh, good morning, America. How are you?
Beast.
And you know what time it is?
Cornhole.
Oh,
You know who
that's
the-
throwback.
I am
That's
the great
Beavis and Butthead
Cornholio.
Do America. That was a great movie.
I am the great Cornholio. I need reels for my bunghole. Okay. Now let's really turn up some facts, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Now, let's not start jumping the gun. Last night, I'm very pissed off at our boys. We lose at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it was a bad one. The Knicks
Bullshit.
shot 12% from 3. Not great. They played awful.
That was like watching a bad monster movie. I would rather watch Godzilla than see us lose.
It was like watching the Jets, Beastbreaker. That's how I would describe.
No,
that
I'd
experience.
rather watch Godzilla. Yeah, and you know who rules better? Godzilla. And let me just say this for our boys: we got plenty of time. Aaron Glenn, the 20th, great, that's good. But now let's focus on facts. After the Super Bowl, we need to get our asses in gear and go college hunting. We're going to start with the top 10. And I'm going to throw some Ivy League into this one. Now, here's the top 10. Ranking at number 10, we're going to go with Army. Number 9, we're going to go with Navy. Air Force, Hofstra, Harvard, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, UCLA in California, and also, if we're lucky, USC. Top 10. We're going to start getting serious and look at these colleges. I want to see what they have to offer. If they got what we want, let's get the checkbook out and see what they want. $10 billion is perfect enough for all of us to spend, because here's the thing we're going to do. We're going to change a few things in those lines. The defensive line is going to have a 300 to 330 pound advantage. We're going to make our men a lot tougher. We're going to make our men a lot stronger, and they're going to push. And that means no more having your hand up your ass. Get your hands on the front line, and when I say down, get your ass down and be prepared to knock the quarterback out. And I mean, lights out.
Hey, Beast,
No
Michael
phone.
Fox says you look like adult butthead. Any response?
Excuse me. I happen to have Beavis and Butthead, but if you're going to act like some kind of a jerk off today, here's your meal ticket. Get in line. Get the hell in line, you big joke. Now, now to the offensive line. I want my men to be 200.
Peter Castro says, idiot blob confused.
Hey, Peter Castro, you want to go do something? Go dance around with your cross dresses. Now back to business. 270 to 300 pounds.
Mike,
We're going to turn this.
Cornball alert. Guy definitely eats dino bites.
Hey, Mike, these nuts. I'm gonna tell you straight off the bat, Sonny. I'm talking football here, not Jerry Springer, you little idiot. Now, you want me to take you to school like I did to that loser last night? Fart knocker, Mr. Idiot? Who went to school? Who I just basically took to school, and let me just say this. I'm the teacher and you're my bitch. Now shut up and sit down and pay attention. You might learn something. And Dave Brigger, do the same thing as well. Sit down and shut up. Now back to business. and you know what I mean by back to business? I want our boys looking like men. And I mean, FPP, hey, this, and right here. Shut up and sit down. This is a classroom, not some dirtbag, useless garbage can. Now, back to business. Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine. Leave the man alone. He's gone through enough. He's had his Achilles. I understand that. He's had his ass kicked enough. But let the man be. Is that all I ask of you?
Mike D's Nuts says Fart Knocker owned you, Beast. Any thoughts on that?
You're full of shit. You don't know your ass from your elbow, you little turd. You don't know Jack because you didn't pay attention enough. How about you do this? Here's your meal ticket. Get your pansy ass back in line and shut up. Do your job and shut up. Yeah, the only thing you can bench, I'll tell you what you can bench. This, and a bit of kiss my ass. And Jets Johnny, nobody pushes me around. You want to fight? I'll knock your ass right out with one blow. I'm Andrew Golota, and you know who you are. Yeah, you're that little Oscar De La Hoya who got his ass knocked out. What? Yeah, that's right. Hey, Dave Brigger, you're learning something good, kid. You're actually finally learning the basics. This is the ethics. We're gonna play smart next year, and we're not gonna play like some jackass team. Forget that. 3-0 was great for preseason. That's prehistoric shit. When regular season starts, I'm gonna say this one time. We're not gonna have the drama queen bullshit. We're gonna play like champions. We're gonna act like champions, and we're gonna act smart. That means use this goddamn thing called a brain. Use this goddamn thing called a brain. We don't bring you here to New York so you can sit on your ass. We're going to tell you how it is. You're going to earn your paycheck.
Beast Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass. And then he's gobble-goo.
Frankie, your thoughts on some of the points he was making there?
I didn't really understand much of what he was saying, but I tend to agree with him. I don't know why. I don't know what he was saying, but I agree with him. So that's
how
it.
I feel. I thought he made some salient points. I really did.
Yeah.
Hit the like button.
How's his relationship with Bobby Midnight? I can see them hating each other.
They started off rough, but now they're on the same page.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
And Mike D's probably hates him, right?
Mike D's Nuts is not a fan. Mike D's Nuts actually said he was going to retire from the show, but he hasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's tough. Every time Beast is on, people are like, get him off. And then immediately when I take him off, it's put him back on. I mean, he's a polarizing figure in the Asmaniac community.
Yeah. Could be good and bad. It depends.
Jorge writes, and Beast is giving Frankie a taste of what we went through with his takes the last time he was on.
Hey, where do you think Frank the Tank came from? I mean, it's when you're a Frank, it's part of being a Frank. You got some tank in you. I mean, it just came out. Unfortunately, sometimes it just does.
FPP writes in 666. Strong. Real strong. All right, more of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster hotline is...
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully he's not on the toilet.
Hey, Jay,
Hello, V-Man.
what's up?
You on the toilet?
I mean, you serious? Does this look like a bathroom to you?
It kind of does.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
It's like a shower curtain back there.
How about now?
Kitchen V-Man. Yes.
So, yeah, no. Uh, what's the sorry? So, sorry, distraction. Sorry, I'm lost my train of thought.
Are you mesmerized by the Beast Breaker call before you came on?
Sorry, I've only listened to a bit of it. I had my cam set up and I was just doing some other things, so I didn't get a full focus of it. But I don't even know how you could you not. Jeez.
I just
Sorry.
want everyone to know, for those complaining about the lack of Jets talk, well, here are my options on hold right now. That's all I'm working with.
All right, so talking about the playoff games. So what do you got? So you got so you're picking the Texans, which honestly I don't feel that. What other games are on today? So today's the Texans, Chargers, and then what are the other games?
Steelers, Ravens.
Oh, Ravens, definitely. I gotta pick the Ravens in that game. Steelers have no shot in hell.
A lot of people think you're shitting me, man. Can you please confirm?
You saw that this is a kitchen. Like you can see this is clearly a kitchen.
I don't know. Maybe you have a porta potty over there or something.
Yeah, I already did. Yeah, no, you can see this is clearly a kitchen. Okay, but yeah, with the playoff games, that's like I'm gonna take the Chargers because I just think the Chargers are just a better put together team. I think with a veteran coach like Jim Harbaugh is going to. I mean, yes, the Texans were in the playoffs last year.
Rick wants to know why there's a stove in your bathroom.
Can we just stop? Can we just stop? This is clearly a kitchen. I'm not gonna. Like, so you can see this is a kitchen. So can we just stop with this talk? It's like we actually just talk football. So those are the two games on today. So it's the two AFC games, and then tomorrow the two NFC games. And then you have the Monday game, which is, obviously, unfortunately, being relocated to Arizona because of the devastating wildfires.
Are you hallucinating?
No, but no, sorry, no, I'm not hallucinating. This is fuck you, Alan. Fuck you, Alan.
That's the end of that V-Man call. Now he can go back to sleeping.
Oddly enough, one of V-Man's better calls. All right, more of your calls right now.
We need Jets football back. I never thought I would say that. I think we do, Jake.
We just need a GM to be hired or a coach.
There we go. We're 2 away from 33 total candidates interviewed, by the way. 33rd team.
A thorough process. Comments, questions, super chats. No one's gifted a membership yet, so I'm going to gift one right now. And if you get it, that's your entry in the raffle we will do next week. So I'm going to get that set up here. While we do that, I am going to bring on Purple Belt Mike, who was called in. Hello, Mike.
Yo, I wanted your thoughts on this, actually. So I saw yesterday that Jackson Dart is probably going to get drafted in like the 20s. So what about we trade back and we draft someone else and Jackson Dart?
That's interesting.
Pick at 7.
Where did you read that? In the 20s? You read that somewhere?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Kuiper or it was McShay, but he said basically after the pro day and all that stuff, he's going to rise up and he's projecting him to be in the 20s.
What's interesting about him and Will Howard, I'm fans of both of them. I think you might get more value out of picking those quarterbacks projecting to go in round 3 or 4 than maybe some of these guys in the top 10, like a Shador or even a Drew Aller, if he were to come out. He's not going to come out, they're saying, but hypothetically. So I think this draft, if we're playing it the right way, I think I would try to get my hands on Dart or Will Howard. I haven't seen Dart going in the 20s, though. That seems high, but things change. And you're right. Maybe after the combine, I mean, after the interviews, things happen, things shoot up all the time. But I didn't see that in the 20s. I thought he was a round 3 guy, but
Yeah, that's just what they said. It's projecting that he's going to be a late first round pick, and I really like
interesting.
Dart. I think that he's going to be good. I think he's going to be better than Cam Ward and Shador.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into draft stuff, but Cam Ward I think is going to be very good. I really like Cam Ward. I'm not as big on Shador. Holds onto the ball way too long, drops back, doesn't have the athleticism that people assume he does. Will Howard, I'm big on. Very big on Will Howard. He is older. He's a redshirt senior, has been around for a bit. I love how he processes. I love how he goes through his reads. Dart's got a little more flair to his game. So I kind of compare them in similar but different ways. But yeah, I'd be fine with. I think we have to draft a quarterback late anyway. Just see what you have there.
Second round, or maybe trade back in end of the first, like what we saw the Ravens do for Lamar, for example.
The thing is, when you're looking at drafting quarterbacks in the second, third round, you want to have a plan in place for them because you're losing value elsewhere. Like we could get a tackle in the third round or second round. We could get a guard. We could get a defensive end, a tackle, another safety. So we better have a plan in place. I wouldn't go as high as a second round, but round 3, I think, is a sweet spot for us. Early round 3, and maybe late round 2 also, if you're kind of want to trade up into the second round.
I don't think older is bad because Bo Nix was considered, is older, and it turned out well. So
yeah.
I don't really think that's a negative as long as the coaching is right.
Yeah.
And that's why I like McCown too. Like you said, I like McCown also.
Yeah, before last year, that was a narrative. Now, because Bo Nix was older, he sort of, destroyed that narrative. Will Howard's 23, is going to be 24. But yeah, I agree with you. I think being older isn't necessarily a bad thing anymore. I mean, you saw Penix too. They put him in. He's older as well. So
I think
that
Penix
narrative's
is going to be good if he stays healthy. He looks good.
Yeah, he's I think he could be good. His only issue is it takes him a long time to get the ball out. Like he's got a long release, but then when the ball comes out, it zips. So it kind of makes up for how slow his release is. Kind of plays a little bit slow sometimes, but his arm's so poppy that once he does release it, it makes up for how long the windup is, sort of thing. But I like Penix as well. I just don't know. I don't know the longevity game with him, like you're saying, if it's there. But he showed some promise, definitely.
Mike,
I can't wait for the draft, baby. It's draft season, Jake.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm getting some Chipotle, actually.
Hey, make sure you go in there and you hold them accountable, all right? Don't
I'm
order
doing the
online.
half steak, half barbacoa, not
All right, that works.
steak
Hey,
and
if you're
chicken.
hungry, extra rice, extra beans, no charge. Get a little lettuce, cover the guac. Maybe you get a little lucky.
Yep.
How do you do that, Jake?
Well, the key is you get guac and then you have lettuce over the guac, and then a lot of times you will not. Thanks for the call, Mike. You won't be charged for the guac because they just won't see it. It's camouflaged in.
That's a good idea. That's a good way. I like that.
Well, it will change the way you do
You're a
things.
vet with that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you find someone that has. Let's see how many Chipotle points I now have in my account. It's amazing they don't sponsor me, so I'm just going to air out all their dirty laundry because I've given them enough time. I've been a public figure for a decade already. Still no sponsorship. Almost 34,000 points. I mean, if anyone knows anyone at Chipotle, tell them to get their heads out of there. You know what? As Beastbreaker would say. All right. I gifted 5 memberships. If you hear your name called, not only are you a member, but I'm adding you to our raffle for a chance to win some prizes.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Here we go. PD, 671 Stonefish, Mike DeLess, JJ Vittori, Dante, all receiving channel memberships. Welcome, welcome, welcome. On the Gusbuster hotline right now is a guy by the name of Gator McCluskey. Hello, Gator.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of eating. Hey, first time, long time. I thought I'd call in because I heard you, Jake, say that, you don't have anybody on hold that talks Jets. And I actually did have a serious Jets point, but it's hard to get serious Jet points in on this show, which I don't know how much longer I can watch this because it's all like this silly shit and all these weird intros and stuff. It's like, can we like talk serious Jets? Because I don't know. It just, that's why I tune in to like get my Jet knowledge. But so, excuse me a second. And my teeth. All right. Can we stop with the Josh McCown stuff? Seriously. Here's my point. Didn't we, for like the last year plus 2, 3, 4, 5 years, scream, holler, and yell about how we'll never bring in another coordinator again, how we need a head coach with experience, how we just, as Jet fans, just want somebody that's been there before, somebody that's actually done it, right?
Hold on one second. Good morning, America. Welcome aboard. It's this jerk off again. This elite piece of human waste. Look at this goof. Has no clue who he is. He looks like some kind of a putz. And you know who I am. You know who I am. I'm the teacher. You're the bitch. Now shut up and learn to listen, damn dumbbell. Last night, you made an ass out of yourself by bringing up very bad facts. You didn't know what the hell you were talking about. You're as brain dead as a stool of pigeon poop, and you don't know what you're doing. You're a rookie. You have no idea what you've done. And yet you think you know Tom Brady and everything else that you want is going to go your way? No, son. You need to learn the ethics and the basics first. The basics are up here, not your ass. Learn this first. Didn't your damn parents ever tell you this shit? You need to learn the damn basics. Now, I'm going to address a lot of other things, too. Oh, Peter Castro, shit for brains? Really? Hey, Peter Castro, I'm going to tell you something right here, you jike. Go get your cross-dressers and go dance with them. Now, back to business. I'm gonna tell you something, Gator. You got a lot to learn about the business. You're a rookie, and you got a lot to learn. Learn the damn basics and go back to school and learn a lot more. Because let me give you a hint. I'm right here. You're down here. Below average. You're gonna have to start at a small school, son, and you'll be just fine. But I'm gonna say this right now. Don't you ever give me a lot of bad quotes, because if you give me bad quotes, F for failure. Now, Jake, I also want to point out one other thing, too, about our boys. We're going to get a strong kicker, too. I want one who can kick. I want a guy.
Breaker 666, he's the man who would kick your ass. And then he's gobble-goo.
I thought he made some good points there, Gator. Frankie, your thoughts on Josh McCown?
I mean, listen, I think we're at a point now where we got to take a little bit of a risk. Get a guy before he becomes. No, we got to be risky.
Take a risk?
Yeah, take a risk on a hire.
All due respect. I am tired of taking risks.
I don't think we take enough risks.
Seriously. Wait. Okay, so firing Saleh was a pretty big risk, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that specifically, though. I'm not saying like in-season moves. I'm saying like putting together a coaching staff and a philosophy.
What about bringing in Aaron Rodgers? Was bringing in Aaron Rodgers a risk?
I don't think so. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at that point, we knew who Rodgers was. We knew he would be a really good quarterback. I think.
To say that the Jets haven't taken risks, I feel like we have always taken risks. I mean, have we taken risks on offense in terms of like the actual play on the field? No.
Yeah,
no, we've been
that's
very
where I'm
vanilla
coming from, Gator.
Right? I mean, but still, I'm talking about the fan base in general, and not all of them are talking about Josh McCown. Well, I love Josh McCown. If he could be our OC, fine. But I don't even know how the guy is as a play caller. And you want to make him the head coach? You want to have him take us into the next 4 years? I don't think he should be even mentioned in head coaching. I think that is the absolute most ridiculous thing, personally, because I have suffered through so many of these coordinators coming in and they're just not doing anything, right? I want somebody that's been there before. I want somebody that's actually smelled the playoffs and actually been there to call the plays, to organize these plays on the field. And I think, as much as I love Aaron Glenn, and you can watch him in the boardroom, right? And he's yelling and screaming and cursing. And we went through the same thing with Salah. We're like, oh, he's on the sidelines. We love the way he's yelling at everybody. Oh, he's got all this passion, right? But where does it happen? It happens out there on the grass, right? When these guys go out on the field and they actually are practicing. I don't think any of us know what the hell these guys are doing out there on the field, because it sounds great in the boardroom when you watch Hard Knocks. And it sounds great every time we watch these guys in the boardroom and they're cursing and yelling and screaming. But the results aren't there, the mistakes, the penalties. Who's the guy that's going to actually stand there and train these guys on the field to not have these penalties? Because you can't do it in the boardroom. You can't do it looking at a monitor. They got to bring in actual referees in these practices. They got to have referees there to start calling these guys out in practice for all the things they're doing. What was the last game? 16 penalties or whatever it was. I mean, we're shattering records. The coaching is ridiculous. So to bring in somebody who's just a quarterback coach to be our head coach, I'm not old enough. I mean, I'm not young enough to sit here and take a chance on a Josh McCown. I want somebody that's been there and done it, and I'm tired of it. So let's move forward with somebody that's been there before.
So you want Brian Flores, I assume. Because he's the only one. Brian Flores or whom else? Matt Nagy, that's been a head coach before. No, I'm saying, like, if you look at the candidates, I mean, Vrabel, ideally, yes. Obviously,
Vrabel, Flores, and honestly, at that point, if you can't get Gruden, I hesitate to bring Rex in. But you know what?
Are you concerned with Flores? Sorry to cut you off. Aren't you concerned with Flores when it comes to putting together an offense? Like, aren't you a little bit concerned that if they don't get the OC right, and even if they do, you also have to get the quarterback right? Flores got into a bunch of issues with his quarterbacks in Miami. So, I mean, like, isn't that a concern with Flores?
It's a concern with Rex Ryan too, right? I mean, you need to have like the perfect OC. So, but that's what this 32nd team or whatever, that's what they're supposed to figure out. They're going to bring in Flores and they're going to say, what ideas do you have for an OC? And if it isn't Flores, it isn't Flores. But the fact of the matter is that I don't want to take chances anymore. I don't care what it costs. You talk about spending $20 million on Vrabel. I mean, spend 30. I don't give a shit. Woody's got the money. This doesn't count towards the cap. Pay the guy with just the most embarrassing amount of money, bring him in, and let's change this culture, because Josh McCown's not going to be able to do it, man. And there's a slight chance he'll be able to do it. But let's stop talking about bringing a freaking quarterbacks coach to run this team. I'm just blasted upset about hearing it.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean, listen, you made good points there. Salient points. Is that the word, Jake?
No, they're not salient points.
This is the most serious I've ever seen Gator calling it. It's incredible.
Yeah, Gator's a goat.
There was a super chat from the big fella. How much is the bounty on Frankie? So I am a Capelfish, big fella. So you know the deal. 10 memberships, and we'll say goodbye to Frankie, who's giving us an hour of his time.
I will say, Gator, there have been candidates that have never called plays before, like Andy Reid, that have become head coaches. And when Andy Reid was hired in Philly, I mean, yes, this is 30 years ago, 25 years ago, but there is something to be said sometimes about Kevin O'Connell. I mean, like, you take a little bit of a risk. I agree with you. There's so many issues with this team from a discipline perspective that
I see both sides of it. You know what I mean? Like McCown to me is an intriguing candidate, but the Jets are in a spot where they have the longest playoff drought in sports. Can they roll the dice with a quarterback coach who's never coordinated before and make that type of promotion? Like, it scares me. Like, I'd much rather a guy like a Brian Flores, who has been a head coach before, has had success, and I think has learned a lot from his first go-around, as long as he's able to answer the question we have about his offensive staff.
And McCown's going to be an OC. I mean, that's ultimately his next step, and I look forward to seeing that. And if he's our OC, I'll be thrilled with that, because I think that is an okay guy to hire, because you're not necessarily going to be able – you're not going to be able to hire a current OC that take him away from a team. You're only going to need to be able to promote. So I just – man, I don't even want to hear his name anymore, to be honest with you, because I don't think he's a fit. If he ends up being our OC, fantastic. But short of that, we need somebody who's been there before, who's going to really change the culture. And I just don't see a quarterback's coach being able to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
speechless, Frankie V. Gator.
No, I mean, I was waiting for you. I mean, listen, you're making good points. The thing with McCown, I think if you look at how attractive the Jets job is overall right now, I wouldn't put it at the top. I think you may want to bring in a guy a year earlier or 2 years earlier than later because of the position you're in. There's not a quarterback for the future. Yes, it's risky. I agree with you. It could freaking burn, it could come down in flames. But we kind of already are down in flames at this point. I kind of consider us at rock bottom. So I'm almost on the train of like, I don't even care. Try something out of the box to finally fix the offense here. I get that's a little bit, I don't know. It's not responsible. It's not. It's actually irresponsible to think like that. But at the same time, I'm just so fed up, man, that and I'm sick of us not being able to score 20 points again. This year we averaged 19.9 points, Gator, with Aaron Rodgers, who finished third in yards and touchdowns. We still couldn't score 20 points a game. The Panthers scored more than us. What do the Panthers have? Dave Canales. What is Dave Canales? An offensive mind. Look at every single team, that has successful quarterback play. They either have a great OC or a great offensive-minded head coach. In the playoffs, you go down the list. We were talking about it earlier. It's a bunch of teams that they value offense, and they have, the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, the list goes down, Rams, Vikings, Eagles, Packers. I mean, these are offensive coaches.
Frankie,
And I think McCown will become one. But, yeah, it may take him 3, and he should call plays before he jumps into being a head coach. I do agree with you there.
One more thing. Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells came in. The Jets had very tired of losing, and he came in and he changed the culture. That was when we said, you know what? Let's get the absolute best guy out there that we could possibly get. Let's not care what we pay for him. We need to change this. And he came in, and all of that experience just brought us back from the dead. And that's what we need. We need Parcells 2.0. And until we get that, we're going to be, as you say, taking a chance or gambling or just let's just try this one or whatever. I just don't think I don't think this fan base can take anymore. So we need to bring in Parcells. We need to bring in that guy, that type of guy, who's going to completely not only change the culture, but we're going to have the confidence to know that this is a no doubter. Because you know what? They're not selling tickets. They're not selling tickets if they bring in quarterback coach, right? They're not selling tickets let's imagine next year, and I know you're a tank guy, but imagine next year being Josh McCown is our head coach, and number 2 is our quarterback, right? Who's going to buy tickets for that? Who wants to see that? Nobody. No Devontae Adams. There's going to be, who knows who we lose in the offseason. And that tank year, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I've had enough losing. We need
Gator,
Parcells.
let me ask you something. Is there a Parcells outside of Mike Vrabel? Do you see a Parcells 2.0? No. I don't. I don't see anybody even close. And on the other side,
however,
yeah,
Pete Carroll could be
definitely.
Pete Carroll could be. I know he's on the older
Gruden
side. How old was Parcells when we got him?
I think he was he in his late 50s?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at Carroll's 77, something like that.
73.
That's 73. Okay. I mean, that's going to be tough, but still, I don't think this fan base can sit back anymore and tank a year. Like they just can't do that.
When I say tank, I want to put us in a position to get a quarterback, and I don't see anything that looks promising in free agency this year or next year. And I'm just trying to have us finally draft someone that we can look at and say, oh, that can be our Josh Allen. That could be our CJ Stroud. That could be our whomever. I mean, that could be our JJ McCarthy project. Having someone in there, we never do. We're so battered about the Zach Wilson thing that we don't even want to try to bark up that tree again because we're like, oh my God, we're getting PTSD that we drafted this kid second and he ended up being a bust. We got to stop thinking about the past is my kind of point. You drafted the kid, he became a bust here, and you move on. And you got to do it again because you need a quarterback in this league, unless your defense is like the Ravens were in 2000. But the teams like that can't even play with their defense anymore at that kind of speed and physicality. So you have to build an offense in today's NFL. You have to. And
I think there's more quarterbacks available than you think. And the fact of the matter is the offseason hasn't hit yet. So, I don't think we thought around this time that Aaron Rodgers was a reality when, the rumors are that he's going to get moved. But the fact of the matter is there's going to be some surprise quarterbacks that pop up. There could be a Russell Wilson, of course,
someone that becomes available.
And I believe in Justin Fields. I think he could probably be a good, you're taking a chance with a kid like that. But you know what? If he has the right guidance, he's got some ability, and he also has the rapport with Garrett Wilson. So I do like him. But I think we're going to be surprised at what players are going to pop up and become available between now and the draft. And until that happens, it's too early to say that there's nobody out there,
Yeah. For this free agency, we'll see. I don't know who could become available. You can always trade. I mean, Aaron Glenn was talking about it the other day. He learned something from Bill Parcells. Every single player has a price tag. So I don't know what the Jets are going to do or could do. But if we just have either a head coach that knows how to run an offense properly, or an OC, I'm fine with either or, Gator. I just want one. Just give me one. Hire your defensive disciplinarian person, but I need the OC there too. And the OCs that we've had in Jets history, if you go down the list, man, are the most pathetic group of offensive coordinators you could possibly put together. I'm sick of seeing this stuff. From the Paul Hackett days I remember when I was younger, I can't see these guys anymore. They don't know what to do. It makes life so much harder for Garrett, makes life impossible for Breece Hall. It doesn't help our offensive linemen out. We can't even develop a tight end because nothing's ever open across the middle of the field. They get penalties. They're constantly backing up. It's pathetic. We got young guys like Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. They can't get anything going. We can't even play our third-round pick, Malachi Corley. Come on. Like, at some point, I'm just sick of – I feel like we can get our defense down. I feel like Florham Park, we know how to do something with defense there. They've been running good defenses for a long time. Offensively, I haven't seen a good offense here in years. I haven't. I'm tired of it, man. I'm like, I want, I get what in a perfect world, you're right. Parcells 2.0, Vrabel, even a Flores is probably better equipped. Definitely Vrabel, but maybe Flores is definitely better equipped to run the Jets than Josh McCown. But I'm just thinking of that what if, and I'm looking at finally getting Breece the ball in space. So, we don't have to put so much pressure on that kid to make, something out of nothing every single time he gets the ball. But it is what it is. We could argue this for days.
Sure.
It's like,
I appreciate you. My last point is just
everyone says you're a jokester. That they didn't know how knowledgeable you are. I guess, right?
Just ignore everything I just said because I am a complete buffoon. So I have no idea what I'm talking about. I honestly don't. Just please, just delete this. Jake, I'll go back and edit this out. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gator McCluskey. Good takes. I see the argument for both sides. I'm more open to McCown because at least he's an offensive guy, and he does know the ownership group here, former Jet. He does have the leadership qualities you look for. I just prefer Brian Flores or someone else with experience. I honestly, I'm not the biggest Aaron Glenn guy just because of his background, but I prefer Aaron Glenn to McCown. I do. I mean, Aaron Glenn at least has been in scouting, former Jet, Parcells guy, culture builder. I feel more comfortable with him than McCown, but we'll see. I feel like it's going to end up being Glenn when push comes to shove.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
I just don't know who the OC is, Jake, and I hate going back to that. Like, I don't if it's Aaron Glenn and it's Arthur Smith. I mean, where are we going? Is my kind of question. It's like I don't see the vision there. But if it's Aaron Glenn and hypothetically Josh McCown, I'm good with that. I'm totally good with that. So for Aaron Glenn, everything depends on who the OC is for me. I don't like the hire on the surface. And I tweeted, I don't understand how there's so many Jet fans that are, on this Aaron Glenn or Rex Ryan train. I was not combining them together. I was just saying either or. I don't get how there's so many. Knowing what we know about the league today and knowing that you need to be able to score points, I don't know why we're constantly avoiding that conversation or not thinking in that light. I mean, I know Adam Gase was a disaster, but throughout Jets history, Jake, we haven't really gone down this offensive-minded route much at all. It was Kotite, it was Gase. That's kind of about it. The OCs, Jake, have been awful. If and I hate being negative, but if you want to laugh or if you want to cry, go and Google the Jets OCs and look at their records and what their philosophies were. I mean, I just think it's time to change. That's just my opinion.
Frankie, good stuff, man. Appreciate you hopping on. Always fun to get you on the program.
You're the man. Sorry you had to go to that disaster in the Garden last night. I blame you for it, by the way.
My record at games
your
been
Jets
pretty good this
energy.
year, I guess.
Is it? What is it?
It's only probably the third loss I've seen this year. Probably been
okay.
9 games.
All right. I don't blame you then. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you, Jake, and shout outs to your fans and the broadcast. You do a great job as always.
Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate it. Frankie V, uStadium. Check them out. They do a really good job covering the league. Some super chats to get caught up on. John Lover writes in, how about Dimitrov for GM, Flores for head coach, McCown for OC if we can't land Vrabel? That'd be my dream scenario. What concerns me is there's people linking Ryan Grigson and Brian Flores together. I really don't love the idea of Ryan Grigson being the next GM of the Jets. I know he's got previous GM experience, but this is a guy who failed to put any protection around Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. And Andrew Luck retired at age 29 because of the just lack of offensive line help he had. I mean, he wasn't an awful GM from like a record standpoint, but Ryan Grigson really doesn't excite me. I don't know. You draft Andrew Luck and then the guy has no protection and that's it. I mean, he was 49-31 as a GM. So the guy's got a winning record, but I don't know. Doesn't excite me. And he's the name being connected to Flores and McCown. So if you tell me it's Dimitrov, I'm in. He's my number one choice for GM. Gabe with a super chat. Gabe, that's 5 raffle tickets for you as well, since it's a $20 one. If not Vrabel, I want Flores or Glenn and McCown at OC and taking a project quarterback in day 2 to sit for a year as the O-line coach / run game coordinator. What are y'all hearing about the assistant O-line coach in Philly, TJ Pagnetti? Haven't heard a thing about him, so I'm not going to pretend like I know, Gabe. As far as the Flores or Glenn and McCown OC plan and a quarterback on day 2, sign me up. I will tell you what, they need a true O-line coach / run game coordinator. The lack of a running game with the talent and O-linemen the Jets do have is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Cincy Matt writes in, head coach should be a leader of men. Offensive or defensive guy doesn't matter. Flores head coach, McCown OC. Lou Anarumo for DC. He just got fired by your team, and you want to pass him on the Jets? I'm going to need to know more about his resume. I know he's a Staten Island guy. That I do know. 25 checks in. Give me Warren at 7. Trade back into the late first round and get Tyleek Williams. We need a run stuffer badly. Is 7 too high for Warren? I feel like I'd rather trade back or take the receiver from Arizona that high. Mike, thanks for the super chat. Connor checks in. Here are some OCs for Glenn. Deuce Staley, Mark Burnell, Joe Lombardi. Also, here's the staff for McCown as head coach. Peterson, OC. Defensive coordinator, Lovie Smith or Mike Pettin. You definitely would need former head coaches on the staff if you're going to bring in Josh McCown. Now, Lovie Smith is interesting. I feel like the game has passed him by. Like, is Lovie Smith even in coaching right now? No, thanks. Mike Pettin is not a terrible name because Pettin is on that staff right now with McCown. Big fella says, Frankie is the Nick Wright of Asmania. Takes her off the wall. Only difference is Frankie has way better hair. I don't think Frankie's Nick Wright bad. Come on. I think Frankie is way better. But I appreciate the super chat. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday this guy came on, apologized, but was immediately sent to the hole. It doesn't sound like the chat took his apology very seriously. We'll find out today if that has changed.
B-Mac, look at my TV. B-Mac, I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets, go Jets.
Hey, Jake. Good Saturday morning to you.
It's now the afternoon, B-Mac. You're not off to a good start.
Happy afternoon.
Also, you spelled J Graves wrong. Let me help you.
Yeah, well, you see on my bottom here, I love Jay Graves.
I don't know if you do. You said you would hit her.
I can sing a apology song to her if you want. All right. It's my apology song to Jay Graves. Hope she's listening. And people in the chat don't forgive it, then that's on you. But it's my apology song. Jay Graves, I'm sorry. You are my queen. You are my earth. You are my air. And I love women. I love them so much. I will go to your house and sing you a bunch of roses and flowers. We can go out to eat to dinner and talk to each other. I love you, Jay Graves. I'm so sorry. I do whatever you want. I give you chocolate boxes of candy. Like Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. I love you, Jay Graves. I'm sorry. You are my queen. Is that good? At least Beastbreaker. Hey, Jay, can you get Beastbreaker on? You keep dragging the whole deep for you. Wick, you are irrelevant, my friend. Look, Jay Graves, I'm so sorry, all right? I love you. It will never happen again, all right? I hope you can call on the show right now, and I will happy to apologize to you on camera to you. Hopefully my apology song was enough. My title in the bottom was enough too. But as far as the rest of these guys, these chumps, where Kent, I would take you on one-on-one in a boxing match. Beastbreaker. Oh, that's not Beastbreaker. Yeah, can get Beastbreaker on. Yeah. Where Kent, I would knock you out. Jet Johnny, I would knock you out. Three Siblings, I would knock you out. Who else? 25, man. Go back to school, man. Because it seems like you are a little bit uneducated with you takes, Josh Dobbs over Rodgers. Are you kidding me, man? Like, I get it, you want to move on for him, but Josh Dobbs, really? Might as well get
Stop talking football.
John McClain. Stop talking football. Well, the Jets need to get Brian Flores. I like that.
You got to apologize to Jay Graves.
I just apologized to Jay Graves. I just sung an apology song. All right, want me to do another apology song? Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Mike. These nuts. I hope I did. I hope I didn't disappoint you, because you are my biggest fan too. You know what I mean? Me, you are cool. Well, I don't know. I want Jay Grace to say that. I want to hear that from her. Don't speak for her. I want to hear that from her, not from you.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Hi, B-Mac.
Hey, no, please, no. I'm sorry, look. I'm really, really sorry. All right. I hope you accept my apology. I didn't mean to say what I said. I love women. I love you. I I was just shocked that you told me to shut up because I was like one of my I did like you. You know what I mean? Before, and I don't know. I'm dumb, and I want to say I'm really sorry, and I hope you forgive me.
Well, I do appreciate it, but I mean, I deal with guys saying stuff like that all the time. But the other guys in the chat, they got wives, they got moms, they got grandmas, they got sisters. I think you pissed off a lot of people. But I will say, I told you to shut up because I really like Alan, and you're like, oh, we gotta celebrate. Alan's not here. Nah, I like Alan, and I like Rick Kent and Jay, three siblings, and Jay. Like you insult all my buddies, so that's why I was telling you to shut up.
I just I love you, but I don't like Alan. I don't think he's respectful, and I just that's a story, but. For you, I'm really did. I felt really bad too.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages. Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages. Welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Oh, B-Mac, that's my lady. You better step off or I'll step on you.
I apologize to Jay Graves.
Shut up. I'm talking to you. You had enough.
Not being Bobby. I call you.
I don't care. Don't talk to my friend Rick Kent.
We cool.
Anybody else you said.
Cool, Bobby?
No, shut up. We don't need you around anymore. We're done. We're done. Don't talk to my girl like that. That's my woman. Don't sing her any love.
Tell them don't talk to me. Tell them don't talk to me then. Tell them don't talk to me then. Tell them don't talk to me then.
Be quiet. We really don't want you on the show. Really. We really don't want you on the show. Yeah.
Bobby, you're still cool, Bobby.
No, no, we're not cool. No.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
You're still cool, Bobby.
No,
cool, my book.
No, I don't care. Drop me out of your book. I really don't care.
Bobby, the next Jets coach, Bobby.
I don't care. I'm not talking to you. I don't really care what comes out of your mouth.
Who's the next GM and coach?
I don't care. Bye.
You don't care?
Bye. Jay, put me in the back.
Okay. Why are you?
Yo, I got a question for you, bud. You call yourself a man and you want to threaten a girl, bro? That shit's fucking corny, bro. You're corny. And you want to tell people you're going to knock him out? Well, I'm talking. Let me talk and then I'll let you talk.
You don't know nothing about me.
Let me talk. Shut the fuck up, clown. You're a clown. You're a clown. Because when I get to New York...
On behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
Man, a lot of melees in this show, huh? Jeez. I mean, Beast and B-Mac, Bobby from the clouds, Billy coming in to brawl. Unbelievable. All right, one last call, and then we will wrap a Saturday show. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a calming, soothing presence to get us back on the right path.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
David, how are you? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you, buddy. I don't know about Gator, but I know I'm part of the buffoon group. But anyway, I won't keep you on long. I didn't get to hear your yesterday's show, afternoon show, because I had to go to work. And I got home last night, and I usually put the news on, got something to eat, and then I get caught up on your show. And I'll tell you, Jake, one of the things in my mind is I hope the Beast gets on and does his thing. I'm kind of not addicted to him, but he is one of the characters of your show. And then he got on, and he had a Curtis Martin old school shirt on, and I have one exactly like that in my closet, so he really got in my good favor. And then I caught is his name Barbarossa?
Barbarossa called yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, when V-Man was he wanted Barbarossa to check out the sandwich to get Vrabel, and Barbarossa said, "I think I got to do a David T here," and I'm like, "Oh, that's me." And he's a cool guy and a good beer drinker and a great beard. He's a teacher, isn't he?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So can I give you and you guys might have covered this? Do you have time for a Jets question?
Of course, David. Anything for you.
Okay. Vrabel, I guess it's not off the table till it's off the table. But in interviewing him, it's presented to him what kind of GM he's comfortable with. But the way the way you and Nick were talking, I mean, other than that, it sounds like if we can't get Vrabel, they're going to hire the GM first. Like if they interview an experienced coach, I know they can't do it with the guys that haven't been coaches yet, but if they interview Flores, could they say to him, what GM are you comfortable working with? Or if it's not Vrabel, then they pick the GM first that they want, and then GM picks the coach. Is that how it's going to work?
I believe that we're going to see a GM hired first, and that GM will sit in the second round of these interviews they've done with some of these coaching candidates. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. I got you.
Now, David, we got to talk about your eye. Your eye is teary-eyed. Are you okay?
Well, yeah, I got a lot. It's been an interesting week. And I've done it already a couple times. Last Tuesday, I fell at my job, and I feel like I broke my toe. And the eye was good during the week, but now just today, so I have my contact lens in, and it's very comfortable. And then I got sick. I got a chest cold and a head cold, and I figure, well, calling your show, I'm not going to get anybody sick, through the telephone. But it's been an interesting week. But you know what, Jake? I'm not a quitter. We keep on going on.
David, you got your eye on the prize, my man. I love what you bring to the program always.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You have a good Saturday, all right, David?
Yes, you too, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great David T.
I got my eye on you, Jake. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
David, thank you very much. Reminder, Hugo House, 15% off. Code Asman at checkout. Get the hat I'm wearing or the hat that Rogers and company is always wearing by using the promo code Asman at hugohouse.com. All the info is in the description box for the show that you're watching right now. Buy one hat, 15% off. Buy a second hat, 30% off. Shout out to Hugo House for sponsoring today's show. Join the Patreon if you haven't already. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Get in the Discord and give yourself an opportunity to connect with the Asmaniacs away from YouTube. Joe the Jet with a super chat at the buzzer. McCord's a Jet fan. Where's number 6 because of Sanchez? If you told me he was a day 2 or day 3 dart throw at quarterback, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't bank on him to be great, but anytime I watched Syracuse this year, he was impressive. He was definitely impressive. All right, hit the like button. Comments, questions, super chats. They always cut the line around these parts. I want to thank everyone for their incredible support. My name is Jake Asman. This has been another Jake Asman Show. We will be back maybe tomorrow with a show. I am on ESPN Radio tomorrow, ESPN New York, from 12 to 2:30. So tune in then. I definitely will be talking about the Jets GM and coach search on the radio. ESPN New York app, 880 a.m. if you're in the tri-state. That's how you can hear the show. So I hope everyone enjoys the 2 wildcard games today. Enjoy your weekend. Maybe one day the Jets will be playing in this weekend. like they were for a lot of the 2000s. Good times. Go Jets, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. As always, appreciate the support from the best listeners in all of sports.
Excuse me, miss. I need to return this damn child. He's no good. Sometimes a child just is no good. Take this one back.
So we're going to get into all of it here. Again, my name is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We come 2 hours after every final whistle here for the postgame show. And I'm going to be honest. The only good thing that happened to me late tonight, early this morning, was making sweet, passionate love to my fiance, which I did after the article was written and that kind of stuff. That's the only good thing that happened. Not great. Terrible.
Hey, congrats on the sex.